Talking about the show last year from the first episode and then how it ended up, your character really changed and became more mature.
Yeah.
I mean, when you got the script for this year, season 2, we're going to take that even further? Is he going to become a more down to earth, or is he still got that wild side to him?
No, we are. In the third episode which actually airs the second week because it's a two-hour season finale or season premiere. We go back in to see what Jake's life was like in Oklahoma, and it's very dangerous. It's not what everybody thinks. It's not just good old boys high-fiving and stuff like that. Right. There's a thing that happens, and it changes him for the rest of the season. I told John, I said, because we shot out of order, but we had an order this year, which was nice because we knew exactly where each episode went. And I said, this will change him. And he said, absolutely. And so you see, after that, the transformation that he goes through. He becomes more, we're all actually starting to, over time, we will start to become more like Noah Wiley's character, Flynn, because Flynn was a weird nerd.
I was going to say,
first of the Librarians, but now he's a superhero. Yeah. It took him 10 years to get where he's at, but now he's the guy. You know what I mean? We're all making that slow progress to being what we are. I mean, you saw a little bit of it last year at the season finale where we ended up being who we would have been if we were the Librarian. And you saw me, my character was a badass. You know what I mean? So that's where we're going. You know what I mean? You saw where we're going to go, so that's where we're going. So it's some of the writing and some of us individually that are taking steps to start to build towards that character.
Does John Rogers pull you aside and say, "Look, I used to do comic books. I know exactly where you're going to go"?
Well, I got to work with John Rogers for 5 years on Leverage. So it was great because I knew the first scene and I knew the last scene. I knew the end of the show.
Really?
Yeah. So
did he share that with you on day one?
He knew where he was going.
Oh, cool.
Not so much day one because he had to get to know us and we had to trust ourselves and trust him.
Right.
But we knew the end game. And so we knew to go that route, and it was because I worked with so many talented people on that show that we all, through the writing, sort of made character steps to get to where we're
As
going.
an actor, does that help you? Like, I should be acting 100%. This way right about now because I know I've got 2 years to go before X happens.
I mean, if you'd have told me on Angel that I was going to end up being the guy that I was at the end, I never would have left.
Right.
I just got tired of being the only superhero not there. I was in a suit with one hand. Everyone else was flying around on cables and biting people. I was like, this sucks, man. Why do I have to be? And if Joss would have told me, I'm going to bring you back with tattoos, you're going to end up being this badass that kicks the shit out of Boreanaz at one point, I would have stayed the whole time, But I just got so tired of watching superheroes fly around me, and I'm sitting there at a desk, So it helps. It helps the end, and also where my character was going. I never knew where my character was going. We did on Leverage, and actually America has seen where we're going. If we had 10 years like Noah, that's who we would be. Lindy would be the one that's I would be Drake from Uncharted, or Indiana Jones, So that would just be the action guy. That's where I would have taken the library, So it's fun because we've already seen where we're going. Now we just have to get there. That's the beauty of it. Yeah.
One of the things.
Sorry, I didn't mean to monopolize that. I was just
no, it's good. It's always interesting.
One of the things I loved about your character, and we talked about it last year a little bit, was the fact that he was always kind of dumbing himself down because he was actually brighter than people thought he was.
Yeah, that was what it was.
That was a really cool.
John kind of told me, listen, this character is quote unquote in the closet back home in Oklahoma. He doesn't want people to know how smart he is because I grew up in Oklahoma. It's not like this day and age it has changed. But when I was younger, when I was in high school, it wasn't cool to be that smart. You know what I mean? You could get beat up. I happen to be a football player and a wrestler, so nobody's gonna do that to me. But if you were just a little bit different, you were persecuted in any sense of the word. And it wasn't in Oklahoma. I'm not talking about my home state, but I'm from Texas. But it's
kids everywhere.
It's the South. It's kids everywhere. You know what I mean? And this day and age, that's why it's so great because I literally. I've been doing this for over 15 years, man. When you kill as many vampires as I did, they send you across the planet to do stuff, and it's been so much fun. But used to, it was only Star Trek, and it was only vampires. Now it's just pop culture thing. I just did Wizard World in Fort Lauderdale last weekend. I'm going to Tulsa next weekend. It's like this because it's just so many genres. It's superheroes. It's just a great world to live in. And back then it wasn't. You know what I mean? So I kind of take it to where even though it's not, it seems like modern day he could be as smart as he wanted to be. I kind of take it back to when I was growing up, and I wouldn't have been able to do that. You just didn't talk about stuff like that. You couldn't take a comic book to school. You'd get ripped out of your hands and beat up. Even though I had them, I did. So it was absolutely. It was deep in the backpack. So I take that and I use the the way I grew up for that character. And John knew that. John's known me for going on 9 years now, man. So he knew, he wrote that character for me, you know. I didn't audition, he wrote it for me, which was nice, and it's got a lot of the stuff. And that's why I'm excited about 203, because he really kind of went home with me, you know what I mean? He touched on a lot of...
203 is the one that you can't wait for the...
203, I can't wait. It's the weekend after the, because it gives all his backstory. Yeah, and which is nice, because there's no more secrets about him, which he's probably one of the only characters that what you see is what you get, and I like playing him. You know, it makes it different for me from playing Elliot Spencer, where we don't know anything about him, and we never really did. We never found out. And so it's fun this time because I leave it all on the table right off the bat, and then you know my character, and it's fun to play that guy.
Any cool treasures you can hint at? No Excaliburs. That was last year. What's this year?
Well, Prospero. We're up against Prospero. He's the main baddie this year, and Moriarty comes in. So that was fun.
Oh, really?
John was very played by the great David Lee, who was on Leverage with me. And so it's a lot of fun. Those guys did such an unbelievable. Richard Cox.
I'm so sorry we have to move on.
That's a nice teaser, man.
Thanks,
buddy.
You go ahead, man.
Last year I asked you what you did outside of the acting. You said you played Destiny. Are you still playing?
Oh, you still playing?
I'm not, man. I'm on the Elder Scrolls now.
Oh, are you? Destiny,
and I haven't played. I'm like itching, man. I've been traveling so much. I haven't played in like a week and a half. I'm basically on Elder Scrolls. I'm behind most people, but I'm on Elder Scrolls, and I'm just waiting for Fallout to come out.
There you go.
And how's the
me and John Kim and John Rogers, my boss, will all be on there playing.
Thanks, guys. Thanks so much.
So sorry. Good to see you, man.
Thanks a lot.